Give this a shot in three, two, one. Go. Welcome everybody to Geekvice episode 284, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name's Morph. That man's Kip. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening. Hey, you didn't break up this time.
Oh, take two. Technical difficulties, abundance this week. Hey, we're still here recording, so that's all good. Also stuck in our houses for a whole nother week, but hey, that's a thing. Um, yeah. So what have you been doing on quarantine the last week there, Mr. Kip?
Well, glad you asked. I think the same thing as everybody else, and that is just trying to keep yourself entertained. We, so my entertainment center, I have the obligatory TV and all that hooked up, but I also have a PS4 and my Xbox 360 still hooked up to it.
Nice.
So we decided, let's dust off some Xbox 360 games. And now we are playing Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, or Caribbean, however you say it. And we just finished playing a little bit tonight before we got on. We have 2 mini kits to find, 2 or 3 mini kits to find, and we've finished the entire game.
Oh wow. 100%, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's so on Pirates of the Caribbean, however it's pronounced. There's 2 big things you have to get on each level. And that is compass points. If you play as Jack Sparrow, he has a compass. He brings it out. It shows you where different things are. You have to pull it out at the right time in the right area. And there's 10 compass points for every area. And then there's mini kits. And when you play through it on the story, you're stuck with the characters it gave you. You finish it. Sometimes you're lucky and you get a mini kit or 2. You usually get about half the compass points. And then once you finish, you can come back and do what's called free play, if anybody's familiar with Lego games. And free play allows you to play any of your unlocked characters. You can switch them on the fly, which is very important because every character has their own thing. And you will run into stuff and you're like, holy cow, we need somebody who can do this. And at the beginning of the game, you don't have anybody that does that. So you have to play through. And this one here is the first 4. I think there's been 5 Pirates movies now. But this is only the first 4.
Okay.
And you play all 4 movies all the way through. And every time you finish a certain thing, a certain movie, a certain chapter of that movie, you'll unlock a character. It's highly recommended by me. We'll just say it's highly recommended by me to play all through all of the story. All of them, all 4 movies, before you go back and do the free plays.
Yeah.
That way you've unlocked all the characters that you can unlock. And this is going to sound bad, you can buy all the other characters. So there's some human trafficking in Lego games. So the way it works is you have the story. You can play 1 player or 2 player. It's a very good 2-player game because a lot of the puzzles take both players to do it. If you're doing it as a one person, you have to get one player set up and then change to the other player, and it's a little more cumbersome, I guess is the best way to put it.
Right.
But you start off, you get stuck with these two characters, nothing you can do about it. And these are the characters that were really required to just get through the story, not find all the hidden stuff. But there's all these boxes and barrels and plants and stuff, and you can beat the shit out of them, and they break up into studs, what's called studs. And that's the currency in Lego games. There's these studs. Another thing you earn, forgot to mention this, you collect enough studs per chapter. In the Lego Pirates game, you earn what's called True Pirate.
Okay, yeah.
In I think Lego Indiana Jones, it's a True Adventurer. I think in the Star Wars games, it's True Jedi.
Yeah,
You get
the Marvel ones, it's True Hero.
True Hero, yeah. So those are really the three things. You want the mini kits, you want the compass points, and you want all the studs you can collect.
Yeah.
As you earn studs and you finish, you go back to the main port. And then if you have enough studs and you run into somebody and you fight them, you basically unlock them. You can hit the B button on Xbox 360, shows you the price. You hit A to say, yep, we'll pay that price or whatever. And they get added to your list of playable characters for you. We've always done that.
Yeah.
As soon as we could get people, we got them. Learned a valuable lesson this time around. There is something in the Pirates series. They're red hats, and basically they are unlocks for things that do, like your stud count is multiplied by 8, things like this.
Yeah.
And they stack. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10.
Yeah.
And they stack. So you can end up with 7,680, I think, times multiplier.
Oh man.
Yeah. So True Pirate, when you first start the game, is a struggle to get. You usually get it on most areas. Some areas you just don't. And when you do get it, sometimes it's like the last battle, last thing going on, and you're like, oh, thank God we got it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you finish the area and you were like 92% done. You're like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, and you're trying to
You
break
get-
like every little thing. Like, wait, there's got to be like 10 more studs, 10 more studs. Give me 10 more.
Yeah, give me a blue one. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, you get all the multipliers. Getting True Pirate, you hit one thing, collect the studs, True Pirate. It's like, wow, that took a second. So, valuable lesson. As you're playing the story, don't buy anything. Get
Gotcha.
enough studs that you can spend like $1 million to double the amount, or $1.5 million, I think, is 4 times the amount. And as you grab these things, and all of a sudden, you start feeling like Jeff Bezos. Money means nothing. We finished tonight with 3.6 billion studs.
That is awesome. Oh, that is cool.
Yeah. I remember playing the game not all that long ago, about a week ago. We're getting 2 million studs just seemed like this is going to take forever.
Yeah.
Now, 5 seconds into a round, it's like, hey, look, I'm already at 10 million. This is awesome.
Oh, that is cool.
So, if you're getting ready to play a Lego game, highly recommend don't spend your money.
Okay.
Until you can afford these. They're red hats in the Pirates game. I think they're just red bricks in other Lego games.
Okay.
Make sure you can purchase those first, because one of them is invincibility. One of them is fall recovery. I don't know how many times we are like on top of buildings or whatever, and you have to make a jump to grab a rope and we miss because the camera angle's bad. and you
Oh
die.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now it just falls off, bounces right back to where you were.
Man, that almost seems like a cheat.
It's totally a cheat and it's awesome. I'm going to admit it. It's freaking awesome.
Well, it's not a cheat if they build it into the game like that.
This is true. I didn't have to do any mods or anything. This is just part of the game.
Yeah.
But it's a good understanding of how um, money works in the real world.
Yeah.
Because when you're first playing this game, you'll hit something, the studs just come flying out of it. Some of them fall off a cliff, and you never get them. Things like this, and you're like, damn it, I needed that. And after a
If
while, you
I'm
earn enough of
short,
these studs at it, you don't care.
yeah. I remember watching. I remember watching them. You know, because we would do the same thing in the Lego Marvel game. Uh, like watching them fall off, and you're like, no, damn it! If I finish this level and I'm 5 studs short, I'm gonna beat somebody because those
Yeah.
5 studs fell off there. Like I remember playing with because Reese when he was little, him and I played that, and we ended up beating the game. We didn't 100% it like you're getting ready to. Got pretty close, and then our save got lost. So
Ah,
I think one of the kids deleted it, one of the neighbor kids, and so I was like, I'm not starting over. But like playing with him, I mean, he was young and just learning to play video games, and when he wouldn't like grab the ones that were bouncing towards the edge fast enough and they'd go over, and I wanted to be like, man, we need every single one of those. But you got to be like, you can't yell at him. You got to like let him learn this stuff on his own. But man, there were
yeah,
times we're like, Reese, come on, you've got no, we can't go yet. We haven't broken every single box that's here because if you don't break everything, you're not gonna have enough studs to get true hero at the end, and we need that to get the golden brick so that we can
yeah,
do this. Yeah,
yep, that's exactly right. And when you break stuff and the studs come out, they expire. So if you don't
yes.
hurry up and gather them, they expire.
Oh,
And the hard part about that is sometimes you have a character that has a ranged weapon,
yeah.
and you hit the button, and the shot goes way off in the distance and hits something. And you're like, yeah, there's a bunch of studs we just lost.
Yep. Yep.
That sucks. But now we're Jeff Bezos, and we just throw money around like it's nothing.
Just like whatever.
Yeah,
Studs for everyone.
we we
Stimulus
started a
studs.
level. This is how bad it is. My wife wasn't ready yet, so I just went ahead and started a level as just a single player. And I didn't even move my character because I have the stud magnet hat.
Oh
I
yeah.
I hadn't even moved yet, and I looked up. It's like I have 3 million studs. I haven't done a thing.
Just I love that part. Oh, I love that. Yes, I do. Yeah. I do remember the stud magnet. That was in the Lego Marvel one.
Yeah, I think it's in every Lego game,
Yeah.
but yeah, get the. It's either the red hat, red bricks, red something. Purchase those first.
Gotcha.
Suddenly, the game becomes a piece of cake.
Like that.
But
Can't complain about that.
yes, but so we own, geez, a couple of the Star Wars games, Pirates, Jurassic World, Indiana Jones,
We have
The
all the
Hobbit, and I think Harry Potter. So we own like 7 of them. We figure by the time the quarantine is over, we're going to have 100% of a few of those, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we've got
Hopefully, not all of them. Hopefully, we're not stuck this long that we do all of them.
right, yeah. We've got Jurassic World, Lego Star Wars, Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Marvel superheroes.
Yeah, I've got that one too.
That is all that we got. But
Which
The
Star
only
Wars one do you
ones.
have? Do you have the complete saga, or
Oh, let me grab it.
because there's like complete saga? I think there's a
Yes,
Star Wars 3 or something like that.
the
Yeah,
complete
that's the complete
saga.
saga. Yep.
Platinum hits.
Yeah, you think Lego video games, whatever. They are actually a hell of a lot of fun.
They really are.
And their sense of humor is great.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
and Lego Batman. We have 1, 2, and 3
oh,
Batman.
I think I have that one too. It's not over here, but I thought I had that one too.
The
I know I don't have
first the
all of
first
them.
one, the first Batman is the very first Lego game we played. And that one is so good, it just sucked us in. And then as soon as we finished it, it's like, oh, we got to see if there's more. you
Yeah.
know, that first one is just fantastic. And Robin is kind of an idiot, so you make a lot of fun of him and stuff like that. And um, the older games, none of the Lego characters talk in the older ones. They
Yeah.
make noises, but they don't talk. Like in the first Batman, Batman just grunted all the time.
Right.
Robin would do something stupid. and,
Yep.
and then we'll play one of the newer ones, and they start talking. You're like, this kind of ruins it. It really
Yeah.
does for us. It's like I don't need the characters to talk.
Well,
We do that
especially
ourselves.
yeah, especially the Lego characters. But yeah, they no, they're a lot of fun. The puzzles that they put together to get you through certain levels, or some of them are actually really challenging. Like I know on the Super Marvel Superheroes one, we had to. There was a couple times, not necessarily to beat the level, but to get the extra stuff that you know is in the level, like to figure out how to actually do that. I've had to look up, I've had to use some Wikipedia stuff to try to find some walkthroughs to be able to find all the pieces. They do a really good job of hiding them in there and making them challenging. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
we'll take a couple of shots at it, and if we can't find them, all the collectibles, this guy doesn't even know me. He doesn't know I'm giving him a shout out. But there's a YouTube channel called Happy Thumbs Gaming.
yeah,
I don't know how many of the Lego games he does, but he did the entire Pirates of the Caribbean, free play and story. That
nice.
guy has bailed us out a lot.
Oh, that's good.
We had one area where we couldn't figure out how to finish.
Yeah.
It's like we've got all the collectibles, everybody's dead. How the hell do we get out of here? And it said, okay, you do this and this and this, and then this will unlock this lifeboat, and then this takes you out to this raft and all this other stuff. And it's like, sweet. So I did all the things it said, except for one part I missed. And when you finally find, and it was a compass point that got you there.
Yeah.
Once you get to the end of the compass point, it is big check mark over it, and you can't go back to it.
Oh no.
And we were shut out of being able to finish the level. It's like, what the hell are we supposed to do? And then I realized if you just say, take us back to port, there's an option to just say save and exit,
Yeah.
and it finishes the thing for you. So if you ever get all the collectibles and you're like, I really don't want to finish the level, I've got everything I came for,
Yeah.
do that.
There you go.
You get all the credit, you get all the studs, you get the
Get
gold
every.
bricks,
Oh,
everything.
nice.
So there's a Lego hack for you right there.
Yeah, I don't think I realized that you could get out after you've completed something.
Yeah,
I
well,
thought
at
you always
least
had to
with
finish it.
with the Pirates one, you can.
Yeah.
You just hit the start button on the Xbox and just say return to port,
Yeah.
and then the next menu item comes up, says, do you want to just quit without saving or save and exit? Like save and exit, and then it takes you to the final screen just like you finished it, where
Huh.
it counts all the studs, it counts all the mini kits, it counts the compass points, and
Yeah.
it's like sweet.
I'll have to see. I'll have to see some of the other, like, see if the other ones. I mean, we don't play them much anymore, but Maybe I'll have to load one of those up. Maybe it's time for me to get back into Lego Marvel superheroes and actually finish it. So.
Yeah, it's um it's a great way to spend quarantine time.
Yeah,
You know, it's a game my wife likes to play and will actually play a video game with me, so that works out pretty nice.
yeah.
And you get stuck. There's a million people on YouTube that will have a walkthrough for
There
you, but I recommend Happy Thumbs Gaming. That
you
guy's
go.
awesome.
There you go. Well, I've been playing a lot of video games here. Well, not a lot. I've really just been playing one video game a lot. Um, so I started this game about 2 weeks ago, and as of tonight, I am 16 plus hours into this game.
Nice.
Um, that is a lot for me in 2 weeks. Weekends, I don't usually get a whole lot of gaming in. Like it's usually just my evenings, and um, only after the kids go to bed and the wife goes to bed do I really start playing video games. So I can't play all that late. But now that I don't have a drive into work, and I don't have a drive home from work, and I don't have a drive to practice, and I don't have a drive home from practice, like now I just find myself spending more time at home. So I get to play more video games, and the one that I've been playing a lot here recently is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This game, is not new, but it is the latest game in the Assassin's Creed franchise. It's a single player action role playing game. Very similar, like if you've played the other Assassin's Creed games, it will feel similar, it'll feel the same, but it's not. It's a it's a big change. I didn't play Origins, which is the game right before this, and that was the first one that kind of started this RPG, this full on open world RPG idea. So, um, they've been progressing this for a while. This game came out in 2018, so I'm only about a year and a half behind. But this game is awesome. Um,
I wouldn't worry about being a year and a half behind. I just talked about a game that was made in 2011. So,
true, true. That is very true. So it's kind of funny with Assassin's Creed. This, like I said, you can tell that it's an Assassin Creed game, but this one feels so much different from the other games. This one has an element where 16 hours in, I have not been approached by the Assassin's Guild to join a guild that's already established. I don't have a guy that's giving me cool little gadgets. I don't have a person that's directing me in certain ways or anything like that. So, um, it feels more like I put it more to kind of like um, Witcher, maybe even a little Grand Theft Auto, um, games like that. That's what it really feels like more to me than an Assassin's Creed game. The
do you think
di-
that's good or bad?
I think it's really good. I think it's really good. It's fresh. So you're playing a game in a series that has been around for a long time, and this game feels new and fresh. It doesn't feel stale. Some of the other take Call of Duty. There's only so much they can do with Call of Duty games to make them new and still stay interesting. You're really doing the same thing over and over and over in every game. Assassin's Creed had kind of gotten to that point. They tried new things with Syndicate, where you had two main characters that you could um, play as both of them in certain missions required certain ones, but you could play with either one of them, and they had different skill sets that and that was interesting. But this one becomes more of a um it just feels different, just a fresher, brand new face to the whole thing, and not tedious and boring. And it was it's a lot harder. It's definitely a lot harder. The controls are a little bit more different, a little like, and I haven't tried messing with the control system to see if I can change like key like button configurations to see if I can change them to make them a little bit easier to use, because I feel like it might mess up some of the other stuff as well. So I kind of keep everything the way the game wants it to be played, and so it just takes some getting used to. But I'm starting to get to that point where I'm starting to flow.
Nice.
The the other nice thing about this game that is a big difference from the other Assassin's Creed games is the story element. In the other games, you spent a lot of, not a lot of time, but you spent time jumping, like you felt like it was your, well, let's go Assassin's Creed. The story of the entire series is present day. That's the story, and you're going back in time to, based off of DNA sequencing, you're related to this ancient famous person. You are going to play as that person and go through his life. But the game always felt like it was pulling you out of certain parts. Like you'd go so far in the story, and then it would, you would do something, and it would give you kind of a, feel like you're in the Matrix type feel. And
Hmm.
so it kind of takes you out of the story a little bit of whatever time period you're in. This one doesn't do that, not nearly as much. 16 hours in, I just got out once. It only happened, and it it really worked. The story that they're telling in this is really good. They finally, like, you play along in the first little bit, and the game kind of takes you in one direction, and then all of a sudden the game made a big switch at last night while I was playing, and it was the biggest story hook, like, that I've ever experienced in a game, where it just said, I was playing along and I was just enjoying it, but just playing. And then this story hook happened, and I went, holy shit, I didn't see that coming. And it hooks me in to make me want to, like, I didn't want to quit playing anymore. Like, now it's like, even tonight, I wanted to, like, you know what? Maybe I don't record tonight. Maybe we would just go play this game some more, because I could use another 4 hours of gameplay. I could stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning. Sure, I don't have to be functional tomorrow. Um, you know, that is really, like, that's kind of what happened with this story. And I mean, the game's been out for a year and a half, so I guess I could spoil some of it. But the time period of this is also one of the key elements to it. This is Odyssey. This takes place during the Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta, 431 BC, if you want to go, like, if you know your years. But um, you've seen the movie 300. This takes place shortly after 300. You are actually playing as the uh, grandson of Leonidas, who was the main character in the 300.
Yeah, Gerard Butler.
Yep, the world famous, or the famous Spartan that fought against Xerxes and his forces, and basically single-handedly, uh, with his with his few groups of Spartans, held off an army of millions. So the stories say. Um, but so you're playing as his grandson or granddaughter. That's the other cool thing, is you could actually play as a female in this. You actually get to choose. So that's kind of cool.
Do they have the
Um,
same costumes as the 300?
you you can, yes. You very
Okay,
well
now I'm
can.
hooked.
Yeah. You very much can. Um, the so you are a Spartan, but the way the story kind of starts off is you see yourself thrown off a cliff basically, and as a boy, and then all of a sudden you start back, as a, I guess, grown up. I mean, we'll say somewhere between 15 and 20. I don't know what the age range for people back then was, but um, you are strong enough and young enough to do a lot of things, but um, obviously not so young that you can't. Nobody questions you like going out on your own and being captain of a boat. You know, um, so but yeah, the story is just really good, really good. I highly recommend it. Um, you start learning. You don't know much about your own past starting this game, and you learn it a little bit as you go. You find there's twists and turns to what you thought was a direction it was going, and then you're like, oh, okay, interesting. Not huge, but enough to make you go, oh, all right, well, this is a mystery that I'm gonna have to solve, you know. Um, so it's really good, and then they throw in different aspects to this. The other interesting part in the gameplay for Odyssey is this mercenary bounty hunter system that they've put in. This has not been in any other Assassin's Creed game, but you are you are basically a mercenary. You can do whatever you want. You can charge people money or you can do it for free, whatever, it's your choice, but you're a mercenary. As you kill other people and perform contracts and do missions, and um, whether you're on your boat killing pirates or whether you're on the land killing whoever, you get more notoriety. There are other mercenaries that are NPCs that are running around in the world, and you can run into them. Sometimes they shrug you off, no big deal, they're not real worried about you. Sometimes you find out there's a bounty on your head, and those are mercenaries that are trying to collect a bounty and come after you.
That sounds awesome.
So one example was, um, I was going through and clearing out this bandit camp, trying to just collect some, get some XP and collect some loot, and nothing, you know, not a big deal. All of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I cleared it all out. Like, all the bad guys are dead. I did assassin's kills on every one of them. I was like, yeah, feeling good. And then I'm going around, collecting loot and doing what you're supposed to do. And then all of a sudden, this guy comes running up out of nowhere and, like, stabs me in the back. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So, I thought, oh, well, maybe I just forgot a guy and he saw me and came running after me. So I, got into a fight with him. I ended up winning and then realized, oh shit, that was a mercenary. I hadn't been paying attention to this bounty meter down at the bottom. It had gotten high enough that there was a guy that had a contract. He just happened to be close by, and I knew he was there, but didn't really, just kind of shrugged it off as nothing. Nope. He apparently realized who I was and came after me. So, um,
Careful, he could have been a Mandalorian.
right? And well, that's kind of the cool thing is twice now in just exploring the open world of this game, I have ran into I'm level 13 right now. I have run into a level 23 mercenary and a level 43 mercenary.
Oh shit!
Now, luckily, those two didn't have contracts on me, so they really didn't bother me in any way. But the other cool thing is in your menu of stuff, there is a list of mercenaries, and there are different tiers. There are 9 tiers of mercenaries in this game, and as you defeat mercenaries and bounty hunters that are coming after you, you move up the rankings of mercenaries. So you get benefits by moving up the tiers, so it's advantageous to go after these mercenaries, when you are able to, and take them out, because then you can move up the tree, and if you make it to the top, you can get some serious bonuses for being in the top tier of mercenaries in this world.
Man, that's cool.
And all of that is on the side of the main story that they're having you go through.
I'm checking the PlayStation Store right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is really, really well done. I have enjoyed it a lot. Um, there, there's a whole nother part to this that comes with the twist that I'll kind of leave for now. I want to get a little farther into it, and then I'll come back and talk about it some more. We'll get some more time down the road. Maybe we'll find out if Kip uh, goes and buys this game and let him get through this twist before I spoil it for him, because it's a it's really good. It's really good, and it changes the game even more. It adds to this. It adds another part similar to this bounty hunter thing that is a whole nother quest within the game that opens up for you. So if you don't want to follow the same storyline, if you don't want to follow the main storyline that's about your finding your family and finding your past and connecting all the dots from your own past, there's a whole nother branch to the quest system that can take you a whole different direction and doing all kinds of other things, and opens up the world and the options for what you do in this game so much more. It's top notch. Top notch
It
game.
sounds like there's a lot of things in that game that were similar to what I played in Horizon Zero Dawn, which is my all-time favorite video game. So I'm totally intrigued.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
still
mean,
$60 on the PlayStation Store, by the way.
that doesn't surprise me. That does not surprise me. But honestly, it's for just the 16 hours I've put into it and where I'm at now, I would pay $60 for this game. And I don't pay $60 for very many games.
Yeah. Thing is I've been playing Titanfall 2. I've started The Witcher 3. I have, was it the BioShock bundle that PlayStation had out? I've got all these games and none of them has just sucked me in.
Yeah.
And it's like I really would, I'm talking about games that I play on my own, not with my wife, and it's like
Right, right.
I really need something. So I'm gonna have to check into this.
Yeah. I so the rumor has it that the next Assassin's Creed game is going to come out in 2020, which would be the end. It would probably be November. Well, the September, October, November holiday time frame for the next one. If that happens, I could see the price tag on Odyssey going down a little bit. Um, you can find it cheaper on the computer than you can on, because Ubisoft runs sales on the computer like all, but it's 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 really good.
It
The
sounds really good. I don't know, but I have to pull the trigger on that.
The other thing that I wanted to kind of talk about that I feel like, and I'd be curious since you played Horizon Zero Dawn, similar type game. Witcher did something similar to this too, and it's the in these open world games, they show you this big open world, but when you start the game, you really start in a tutorial type setting. But it doesn't feel like a tutorial. It doesn't you don't have the you occasionally you maybe you have the hey, you push this button to attack, you push this button to defend. You
Right.
do, that kind of stuff, but they work it into a story that allows you to learn while you're playing as opposed to just making it a very structured like it used to be. And Odyssey, Witcher did this, and they did it in the sense of like a flashback, which was kind of a cool way of doing it. Odyssey did this in a little bit different of a way where they gave you this island that you started on. Everything else was too far away from you to be able to like really get to it. You had to build
Okay.
up your resources in order to be able to get a boat to get far enough away from these islands because Greece there's a lot of islands that are around Greece, and so that that kind of sets you up with different missions and things that happened on this island. There were lots of things that were there. It was like, you know, animal dens that you can go and kill the alpha animal on there and get rewards. There's bandits. There's a storyline that's there with this guy that kind of found you from when you were a little kid that thrown off this cliff that you were supposed to die and you didn't. You kind of washed up on shore, and this guy found you and took you in and raised you up. So you're helping him out with stuff. It spent I didn't realize it, and I probably could have gotten off of the island faster, but I spent about uh I spent somewhere between 7 and 9 hours in the tutorial island, and didn't really realize didn't feel like I was missing anything. I felt like I mean I felt like I didn't even finish everything there. Like I left some stuff. I did a lot of it, but I didn't finish everything that was there. There were still missions on that island that I could have gone and done. So did Witcher kind of had a similar thing, but it was on a much smaller scale. This I felt like, man, I played for a long time and did not realize how little, like how much I did, but just that was just the tutorial. That didn't even get me into all the other stuff. There's so much more to the game that it didn't hadn't even opened up to me yet. It, was Horizon Zero Dawn like that?
No, Horizon Zero Dawn had a tutorial part that was kind of linear. You're a little kid, you're being fostered by this man named Rost, and he teaches you how to hunt. And then there's like, I don't know what you call it, a contest basically, um, for the tribe. You get to be in it even though you're considered an outsider because you're not, you know, naturally born into the tribe.
Right.
And then you finish the trial and then you're in the game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you really, it's not open world enough at the beginning for you to just keep doing tutorial. Um, you
Gotta
get through
eventually.
it, and then the next thing you know, it's like, holy crap, shit got real. And
Yeah.
then you finish it, and then you're older now, and you are doing your thing, and you're
See,
in
and that
game.
yeah, that's very similar to how Witcher 3 kind of felt too, and that
Yeah,
like you get through it and then you're like, okay, here it is. Like there was stuff to do, but not so much stuff that you could stay there for that long. Assassin's Creed, man, the way Odyssey did this was top notch, and um, so much so that I didn't really think of the fact that it didn't have a title sequence. There was no like opening credits type thing, which there usually is in games, just like in a movie. And then all of a sudden, when I got out of the tutorial, I got on this boat that is my boat. I've saved this captain, you know, who has a boat, and he's like, "Yeah, you saved my life. You come on board. I'll take you wherever you want to go. Like I'm this my boat is now your boat. I'll do whatever you need me to do." Like, cool. So I get on this boat and I leave this island to head to my, this follow the quests and the the storyline and the way it was directing me, and I start going. Then all of a sudden, it zooms out dramatically from your ship, and then goes to a title sequence of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I go, "Oh shit! I literally have spent so much time on the tutorial that I forgot I was in the tutorial." Like, but it wasn't heavy-handed, it wasn't directed, it was just playing the game. It was getting experience playing the game so that when you left and went off the island and got into tougher competition and more battles and harder things to figure out, it just felt, it's just like felt like it was progressive and on its own. It wasn't like that big massive Witcher 3 had this big massive jump of hair. You learned how to do all this stuff. Here, now go fight a griffin. Like, what? Like, that was a big jump for me. It felt like a really big learning curve. You had to learn it fast. With this game, it felt like it was nice progression of just you just did what you needed to do. You kept playing the game, and then all of a sudden, you're in the you're in the open world. You're in the actual game, the full on game, and you're ready for it. So I
Which
thought
is
that
good
was
because I am the world's worst at the tutorial,
yeah,
especially like The Witcher. So every game I've played, you walk up to something and it says loot or whatever, and you just take it.
right.
In The Witcher, if you do that and people see you, apparently somewhere in the tutorial it tells you this. I I pretty much just bypassed all the text. Like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm that guy. And
All
then when
right.
I can't figure something out, it's like, why the hell is this game so hard?
Yep.
Because
Yep.
I made it that way.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed has a whole like they give you big red letters when you are and it doesn't say loot, it says steal. Same button, but it tell like it's flat out, "Hey, you are stealing this. This is not yours and somebody's going to get angry." So, the last thing that I want to put on the Assassin's Creed and how awesome this game is. So, lots of games, Witcher 3 did this. There are lots of games that say the actions that you have in the game impact the story. That's told all the time. And Witcher 3, there were times where you felt like I was making a decision that affected the story. And I found out at the end of the game, it told you, "Hey, not because you chose this, but you did this and therefore this happened," you know? But it wasn't directly involved with me all the time. It was a story at the end that told me. It was the cutscene at the end. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is the first game that I have played in a really long time. I think maybe all the way back to Fallout on the 360. What was that? Fallout 3? Fallout 2? Up here. Fallout. Maybe I don't have. I had it. I played it. One of the first couple Fallout games had this to where like if you killed a guy, like if you went into this encampment and you killed the guy there, that next encampment might not actually let you in because you destroyed everything there. Type of interaction. Assassin's Creed Odyssey has that, and it has it in spades. Every single choice that you make that they give you is impacted in some way in the game from somebody else. And the perfect example is on the tutorial. On the tutorial island, one of your first quests is you have this little you know girl that is your friend. She like looks up to you, and she has a friend that's family is being like threatened by these priests saying that they have a disease. And she's like, you have to save them, their whole village is burned down, they're the only ones not, that haven't been killed yet, you have to go save them. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go save people. Yeah, you're my friend, I'll go help them. So I go over there, and the priests tell me that this family is has been cursed by the gods, and they will kill everybody. Like, so for the greater good of the island, the gods say that they have to be killed. And I'm like, well, that's bullshit. Like, whatever, they're fine. Like, they look like normal people. So I tell the priest to go suck it. He picks a fight. I have to kill the priest. Um, Now, I just thought, okay, that's part of the story, no big deal. I get off the tutorial island and I go to this temple to talk to one of the priestesses at this temple, and she won't talk to me. She's very short. My options of what I can pick to say are limited, and at first I'm like, well, what the hell's going on here? And then she flat out says it. I heard on Kepalonia, which is your island that you started on, you killed a priest. I don't want you here. Get out.
Damn.
Like, oh shit. Like, that was a quest that was given. Like, I had a choice on what to do, but I didn't think it would impact me that much. Like,
Yeah, it's
that was,
tutorial. How
yeah,
how could it?
that was impact number one. Shortly after that, I get back on, I'm deal with that situation. I work around, find some other information that I need. I get back on my boat to go to the next place that I need to go to. And uh, Barnabas, my first mate, he looks at me and says, "Hey, have you heard about your island?" And I'm like, "Oh." He's like, "There's a disease that's running rampant on your island. There's people are sick. They're not, it doesn't look good. We can go back there anytime you want. Just say the word." Like, that disease, I haven't been back yet. I need to, but I keep getting sidetracked. That, like, in my head, I'm going, crap. That's now second thing from one choice that I made to save that family has impacted my game now twice. And
That's pretty
it's
impressive.
yeah. And I mean, that's just in 16 hours of gameplay. Like, this is probably uh Ubisoft's Uplay says I'm 25% of the way done with the main storyline. I'm 25% of the way done at 16 hours in. So this is, what's 16 times 4, smart guy?
16 times 4,
Yeah.
64.
So, you know, this is a 60 plus hour game, probably a 60 to 70 hour game. If you're just going to go through it without doing a lot of the extra stuff, 60 hours. So I can only imagine the impact of the other things that I've done in this game and how those are going to come back to haunt me. Um, you know, but it's it's really interesting, and this game they've done a really good job, and um, I know I'm a homer for the Assassin's Creed games. I've loved them. I usually love them. This game has moved up in my rankings, and I could see by the end of this, if this continues at the way it's going, this could be my favorite Assassin's Creed game in the entire series. And
That's saying something.
yeah, that's high praise. There's a lot of games. So there you go. I told you I would spend a long time talking about this game.
Yeah, but it sounds super interesting. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah.
You know, because I played, what was it, Assassin's Creed 5, where you're like a pirate?
Black Flag. Yep.
Yeah, Black Flag, that's the one. I couldn't get out of the tutorial. Seriously. You had to get on this island and do some stuff. I couldn't get off the island.
Yeah. Yeah. This one, Black Flag was really good in some aspects of it. The naval side of that game that's the first time that was ever done in a game right that I had played, and they have that in this one, and it's kind of been expanded upon. It's very similar to that, so that's really kind of cool. I like that part of it, but this one's got so much more depth to the story. That one, so much more.
Cool. Well, if the tutorial's as good as you said, maybe I'll actually have a fighting chance.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, hell, if you could see if the game's at the library, you can get it from the library, and you might just play through the tutorial. I mean, you could spend. I spent probably somewhere. I wish I could remember exactly what it was. I think it was 7, 8, 9 hours, something like that, before I realized that I had gotten off the that I was still on the tutorial. Um, yeah, I mean that's a lot of gameplay. You'll know whether you like the game before you leave the tutorial island. That's for sure.
Yeah, the problem with getting it at the library is I don't know when the libraries are going to open.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I guess they don't do the holds anymore.
Nothing right now.
Yeah, you have to see if it's on like Redbox or.
You know, sadly, I've never done Redbox.
I haven't done any games on Redbox. I've done some movies on there, but that was back when Netflix's streaming service was crap and you had to still get them on. You still had to like get mailed DVD.
Oh, yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got here.
Same.
All right, boys and girls. You know the drill.
You know the drill.
Yeah, go check out our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. Go follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/geekvice. You can follow us on Twitter, that man over there at Kip Killigan. You can follow me at Geekvice. You can go check out our YouTube channel where you can find all of these videos, plus the, like 2 minutes maybe that we had right before this, where my computer crashed. You can find those on there too. You can find...
Trench.
Yeah, you can find Let's Plays of me playing Assassin's Creed Rogue. That was the first one that I put up on YouTube. So you can go check that out. Go search for Kip Morph on YouTube. Go give us a like, subscribe, notifications, stuff, thumbs up. And of course, as always, you can reach us by email at geekvice@gmail.com. Thanks everyone for listening to our ramblings, and we will see you next week.
Later.
This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.